Christmas week. 3 9-hour days and an 8-hour day till Christmas Eve, and a just over a week off from work. Gotta love it. Now, before anyone does ask, the reason why I called this one a Hokey Wokey Christmas, because I had an idea, but like I said, I just don't have the money to implement it. I was like, imagine there was like a late night record ad like they used to have in the old days, and it's like, you could get it now, the whole Christmas album, Nerdy in the Balls, Hokey Wokey Christmas. And I was like, featuring such hits as, and you fade to like, I'm dreaming of a white male doctor, as straight as any man can go. I was just picturing the songs that would be on the Hokey Wokey Christmas album with these two. Like, you have Carol the Bells, except that, they're singing virtue signaling, killing Doctor Who. Something like that. Diversity casting, killing Doctor Who. The big chin balls, killing Doctor Who. I wish I had a choir to do that. I was like, Nerdy in the Balls, Hokey Wokey Christmas. And what gets me is, like I said, I'm still remembering that time that, the bully got to be admin of this one Doctor Who group, and then took down all my posts, took down all of Legend of the Traveling TARDIS's video posts, because it was the ones I was in. And it kind of just shows me how I'm that spear in their side, I'm that pain in the ass, I'm that tack on their seat. Because they don't want to hear the truth. They literally make their whole living on lies. And it's like my favorite one, and then so far, and this is one that Trilby, Mr. TARDIS called him on. He was sitting there in a podcast, and this is Denardi, and immediately starts going on about the two white male villains, and it turns out neither one of them were villains. I can't remember the name of the guy who dug the tunnels in Liverpool. Turns out he wasn't even a villain at all. But he was on this, roll with this other guy, and just kept going with it. I'm like, guys, it's like, does that mean villains? You know how, bad that sounds? Like, one of the things I can't stand in books, and I see this all the time, is the bad guy is usually always overweight. It's like, I'm overweight and I'm not a bad guy. I'm not plotting the overthrow of the free world or anything just for jollies. Ugh. That's one thing I get sick of. Or they're the pervert, or they're the misfit, or they're the way you call it. And of course, the hero of the story does not have an ounce of fat on them. They're built like Fabio. Yeah. Okay, that's just me. But okay, here's the thing. Now, Russell T. Davies posted this picture of his picture with a Santa hat, and they seem to think this is indicating that they're going back to Christmas. And it could be, because you have to remember, the whole thing is shifted. Chibnall took the job and he didn't want the job, but I think he took it just to keep the show going. Otherwise, I think it was looking at an indefinite hiatus, or they were going to put somebody in there who just... And I love how now, one of the things I can't stand is, and I saw this online and I couldn't believe it, my eyes nearly rolled out of my head. Apparently, Jodie is not a great ambassador to the show because she didn't know anything about it before she got the role. So now it's become a mandatory requirement that you somehow embrace, understand, and study 58 years worth of lore before you can take the role. And I'm like, wait a minute, you do realize how impossible that is? And then, of course, I'm sitting here thinking, well, Guy, I got some bad news for you, because Matt Smith didn't know jack shit about it either. how is this different? Oh, no, he didn't start studying it until like well into season 1. Oh, well, of his run, I mean. And it's like, or I think it was after his first series. And I'm loving how, okay, they're saying, okay, Jodie didn't know anything about Doctor Who. Then you're sitting there every time she does a brilliant performance going, she's copying David Tennant. And I'm like, if she wasn't familiar with the series, how could she be copying David Tennant? You see what I mean? It's like they don't think about these things. They just want you to get PO'd and react. So that way you'll keep coming back. You all do realize every time anyone types a comment on that video, it increases its audience retention. Therefore, it bumps that video up on top of the money they've already put into advertising. Now, we all know, apparently, there was an article, I think it was Radio Times, Tanaya Miller's been cast for an episode, in the upcoming series and all that. And I'm like, wouldn't it be some shit if it turns out she is the 14th Doctor? I'd love it. Talk about a total shift, in the, in the fandom and all that, and a total shift as far as the show goes. Because I've loved her in everything I've seen her in. Everything from, what do you call Black Panther, Haunting of Blythe Manor, and things like that. So I'd love it if she was the 14th Doctor. I'd enjoy it. Not just for the fact that certain folks is out there brain would explode. But here we are, Christmas week. So this is Christmas. And Chibs, what have you done? I'm not getting Nardy and the Bulls Hokey Wokey Christmas album. I wish I had the, even the facilities to bring doing that one. Begin doing that, because I would put that out as like one of those old fake record ads. It's like, they're literally asking for the impossible. But I guarantee you, it's like, the reason why they're doing all these things is to distract from the fact that Jodie didn't have the one thing they wanted, a penis. I'm not kidding. It's ridiculous. It's been the same old song now since 2017. And it's like, why don't you just come out and say it? You were never going to accept a female doctor, period, no matter who it was. And I died laughing because, sure enough, when Joe Martin first appeared, she was more the doctor in a few minutes than Jodie ever will be. The only reason they're saying that malarkey is they're trying, like a cat desperately covering a turd in the litter box, to make it look like, they were open to the idea of the doctor being, female in the first place. They just don't like Jodie Whittaker now. And I'm like, she's done nothing but accept the fans. She's done nothing. Just like when, Nardi had his brilliant moment where he's going off about, Eccleston selling out Doctor Who. And I'm like, he never turned his back on Doctor Who and sold out. I got the pictures to prove it, dude. He was standing there at a curtain, meanwhile, he's 15 minutes to curtain call at the play he's doing. I think it was Macbeth. And he's signing autographs for everybody. He didn't care what was on it. And he didn't charge a dime. Unlike somebody who didn't do that till they started getting charged, started charging their fans anywhere from $100 to $150 a signature. Okay. Yeah, I think she brought on a whole new thing to the role. And you can love Chibnall, you can hate Chibnall, but when he took over the show, the average rating was about 5.5 million viewers from the previous series, and he brought it up for a while. And there's nothing wrong with it. And then what did the BBC do? Let's take a year off. That's not how you build momentum. And then, yeah, he never turned his back on Doctor Who. He never stopped being a fan of it, and he never stopped loving the fans, Eccleston. Matter of fact, like I said, I die laughing. I had one of these guys going on about that till I posted the link of, well after he left the show, where he's helping a guy propose to his fiance as the 9th Doctor. So for a guy who hated the role, turned his back on it, and sold it out, and he did this completely without charge. Matter of fact, he's the only guy I know who, without charge, was giving out autographs. Unlike a certain other guy, I died laughing because one time I was at, I was Who North America, I think it was, and they have the extra autograph photos there. They always just happen to have them, I don't know. And like Matt Smith for like $150. I'm like, why would I pay for a signature, $150? Like, this guy is like, Alec Guinness or some shit? Are you kidding me? Or, yeah. That's what I loved about Peter. Peter, he literally went out of his way for the fans. One of my proudest moments, and like I said, I think he was talking to a security guard, and they were at a shoot. I can't remember which one, so don't ask me. I'm going off the brain noggin here. And he said, at his break, he goes, I'm going to run over there for a bit, and all he goes, I got to get over there. And the guard's like, Peter, you don't have to do that. And all he goes, yeah, I do, because at one time, I was that person on the other side of the rope. I was that person on the other side of the tape, or whatever it is. And he would do it. Matter of fact, it was because of him that Jenna Coleman started doing it. He started making her do it. She had nothing to do with anybody either. Yeah, Tennant tended to, fraternize a bit. And matter of fact, Peter, he drove him nuts at San Diego Comic-Con because he was out walking around in the crowd. He went up through the queue line for his presentation and all that, made sure everybody got an autograph, a photo, and all that with him, and didn't charge him a dime. Unlike somebody I can mention who never bothered until they started showing up at conventions, and it was $100 to $150 a signature, and I can't remember how much for a picture. It's almost as bad as one of them poor folks, paying $300 and something bucks for a picture with who I call Advil Lavigne, Avril Lavigne, but I call her Advil Lavigne because she gives me a headache when she sings. And she was charging people. Get ready for this. This is Avril Lavigne now, not a Whovian or anything like that. I'm just giving you an example out of left field. She was charging people like $300 to have a photo with her. And get ready for this. You couldn't be within, I think it was like 4 or 5 feet of her, which made taking, I felt sorry for the photographer because now he's got to, angle the shot and make sure it's wide enough to get you both in there. You couldn't hug her. You couldn't really talk to her. You couldn't have any contact with her. And this is well before COVID, folks. This is a couple years ago. So you can't even say it was that. And like I said, you're within like 4 or 5 feet of her, and you got to take a photo with her. And she was charging you $300 just to be in her presence. This is well known, folks. I'm not joking. Look it up. And I'm like, really? Who the F do you think you are? It's like, really? It's like it's just, you got some people out there who think their crap don't stink. They pee solid gold, and when they fart, it smells like cinnamon, fresh baked cinnamon rolls. It's just sad. Yet meanwhile, you got other people out there, like I said, the majority of celebrities I met are human. They love the fact that, they love their fans and all that. But then you got that few who think that, they're there to be placed on a pedestal and worshipped. Oh. Well, folks, I just looked at the time. I got to get going. So, yeah, if you see the Nardy and the Bulls Hokey Wokey Christmas album, I wish I had time to do something like that. But it's like, oh, man. I'm dreaming of a white male doctor, as straight as any person can go. That Chibnall and Whitaker have to go. Oh, God. I wish I had time to sit there and do that whole ad. That would be funny as hell. Hokey Wokey Christmas. Take care, everybody. If I don't see you before then, have a Merry Christmas. Well, Matt started loving the fans when he started getting paid $150. Trust me, I've known people who were on the set at that time. You're not going to find any fan pictures with Matt Smith. Not before the conventions. All right, take care, everyone. I'll catch you later. Enjoy your day. Be kind, everyone. If I can find the off button. Hang on a second. Oh, there it is.